All right, we'll call the meeting to order. We do have a quorum. Gabe and Janet, unfortunately, are both not able to join us tonight. Our first order of business is to accept the minutes from the October 26th meeting. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much. Fred is the only one here remotely. Thank you for joining us, Fred. Are there any comments, petitions, anything you want to bring to the board?
Janet had asked me to come in tonight to talk about the letter that we received from Quicksilver and what's going on with that.
Perfect. Well, with Janet not being here, I didn't have any background, but I am happy to have you address it now if that works for you.
Sure. When Ben released the information that he was stepping down from the Quicksilver, and Trey was going to be taking over, we started to get a little concerned. Want to make sure that we still have the capabilities to transport patients to the mainland. And with the ferry boat having a strict criteria about making night runs, I wanted to make sure that we had a plan together with Quicksilver, because that's basically how we've been running, knowing the protocol of the ferry. I did have a meeting with Trey and with Ben. It was a great meeting. We talked about where the boat was going to be and how to get a hold of them and the priority of the call list and other options that are still on the table that they're trying to work out in order for us to work it out. I have reached out to Josh Conover, who has helped us in the past, and me and him will hopefully be getting together pretty soon to see what his availability is. And there's a host of things that we're concerned about. First of all is the ambulance runs. Second of all, the second most used is the law enforcement. If I need backup or if I'm not on and the deputies are coming over, troopers, ensuring that they'll be able to get to the island. And then there's the fire department. If they have a structure fire and they need to move firefighters and their equipment back and forth, having boats that are available for that. I've walked away from the meeting with Ben and Trey, confident that they will be looking out the best they can the interests of the people of Islesboro, and we did talk specifically about that. I was encouraged by the way that Trey wants to approach it. The boat will be moored in Lincolnville, as it said, I believe, on the information that Ben sent out. But apparently Trey doesn't live too far from the ferry dock in Lincolnville, and we'll be able to get there in a pretty reasonable amount of time. And if we are able to make a transport decision early in the call, we can call for the Quicksilver before we even leave the scene with the patient, and might even have the Quicksilver waiting for us at the ferry dock by the time we get there. And I'm not quite sure, like I said before, about what Josh is going to be able to do to help out, but I've always found Josh very helpful and willing to help in any way he can. So between the two boats and maybe a couple of other private boats for different reasons, hopefully we'll have a good plan in place. And that's what Janet wanted me to talk to you about tonight.
Great. No, that's really helpful, Fred, and I appreciate the update, and it's just really comforting to know that you are paying so close attention to this and having the proactive conversations to make sure that there is a plan. It's much appreciated.
I'm here if anybody has any questions.
I had one question. I think I just missed does Josh also have a boat that you've used before?
Yes. His is more of a work boat, but when you need to get people off and on the island, and with his capabilities, that's as good as it gets.
Fred, Do I understand that the ferry does not run after hours?
They basically told us that unless Life Flight tells us that they can't fly, that they are unavailable. And a lot of that was due to the crazy schedule they had over the summer and concern about staffing. Anything above that, I think you folks will have to have talks about that on the political level. But you know, my part of this is to take what me and the captain can negotiate between the two of us and work with it. And having seen what a busy summer they had and the staffing issues, we have really worked very hard to abide by what they want to do. We still call the Coast Guard if it's a night run. And we still, and we might end up doing that with a Quicksilver too, if we have to call Quicksilver out, because we don't want to exceed their same rules they have to go by with their captain. So, you know, we're trying to do the right things and understand where everybody's coming from, because we're all in the same boat. But as of right now, we call, if we have a critical enough run for the ferry boat, we call Life Flight if it's a Life Flight call. And if it's not, then, or if Life Flight refuses us because they have a helicopter that's out of position, or they can't fly, fog, rain, wind, then we can get the ferry boat. And it's worked out good. I mean, they know that we're really trying hard, and we know that they're doing the best they can. And at that point, anything past that, you guys would have to have your own discussion. If you need me to come in and talk with you, I'd be more than happy to. But at this time, I just wanted to update you on what we're doing and trying to ensure that the folks of Islesboro will be able to be transported over if need be.
Any other questions for Fred?
He can't see what I'm looking at, but the emergency call list that was included in the packet, is that probably gonna be?
I can't hear the question.
We received a emergency call list for November 2020 that starts with Quicksilver and has a listing of island persons. I'm wondering if that's part of the EMS side's emergency call list.
That's our confidential call list that we didn't want put out to the public so that people wouldn't be trying to use that call list to get a Quicksilver ride.
No worries. That's what I wanted to
but-
make sure of.
Yeah, I'm trying to, you know, I just don't want people using that call list that's been published to call Quicksilver, because that's not the appropriate way to do it. That's a tree list for emergency services.
Okay, no, that makes sense. That's all I had.
I think that may actually have also just been in your packet.
No, it was in mine
It is in
too,
yours,
yeah.
so I
Yeah.
didn't see it, so, okay, great. Oh, there it is.
And I was wondering as well what that was.
Yep.
So that way when I pin stuff together, I know I'm pinning it in the right spots.
Thank you, Fred.
Yep.
Any other visitors, comments, petitions? Hearing none, ferry service update. Gabe usually provides that update. Does anybody else have an update or things they want to discuss related to the ferry? Okay, sea level rise update, I can be brief. The next sea level rise committee meeting is scheduled for next Wednesday, the 16th. Hopefully we should be hearing soon about 2 pending grant applications that we have out there, and hopefully we get some good news. Municipal building project.
Oh, I'll also be very brief. We have a meeting next week, same day and virtually same time. Not my favorite way to have it laid out, but, also the planning board is meeting on Monday, so we understand, that, finding of facts has been reviewed. They'll make their decision on Monday, but we believe that there's a chance that we will get our permit as of Monday. Moving right along.
Any questions? Upcoming meetings and subcommittees, planning board meets on November 14th. I don't see a town manager's report. Does anybody else who's been more thorough with their packet have, oh, I see it. Oh, no, that's from last week. That's from 2 weeks ago. All right, we wish Janet well with a quick recovery and glad to hear that Pete is home. No correspondence and communication, no old business, no new business, no other business. Next up is approving the warrant number 10 for FY '23. Have a motion,
So moved.
Second?
any discussion? Those in favor?
Aye.
Great. We'll pass that around to sign. There are no appointments. I do not have any comments tonight. Melissa, do you have any comments?
I want to run back just real quick. There was one thing in the packet that I think was supposed to be in the town manager report. We have the email about the PFAS investigations. They're coming out. They were here, I think they're here tomorrow. Doing the well sites on the GW monitoring. I'm skimming it super fast, but they will be out here on the 9 o'clock ferry. They're going to conduct the residential water samplings for 10 Islesboro residents within 1,000 feet of the field that have granted permission upon it. So they will be out and about tomorrow. If anybody sees them, they have permission to be out here. We have their contact information and a map of where they're doing it. And then we have the attachment of the general election that has been published and put on to that says what everything was. And thank you to everyone who volunteered and helped and worked. And it was so nice. And they were saying that they had such a good turnout yesterday. I was very happy. And so do you know,
411 voters.
Wow,
that's
that is
awesome.
amazing.
411.
That's incredible.
411 voters.
That's amazing.
Is that a record?
I don't know if it's a record or not.
That would be
That's certainly a midterm
That would be
record.
interesting to find
It
out.
is.
Yeah.
Did it? Oh, I would more than bet that.
No, well said. Thank you to everyone that helped with the polls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a very pleasant experience.
All right, Phil,
I really don't have anything this evening.
Lauren, the last
I'd
word.
like to reiterate our hope that Janet and Pete they have COVID, hopefully they aren't having lots of symptoms. Hope they get well fast.
Great. With that, I would accept a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All right. Thank you all.
All in favor?
Bye.
Who seconded that?
Phil, Lauren combo.
What?
That into the room.
Oh, the.
Hi Maggie, bye Maggie. Thanks for joining us, Maggie and Fred.